Second question. Linda from the UK has asked us by email, I was wondering if Roger and Flora might offer some insight into why Italian art song seems to have been overlooked within the musical canon, particularly when compared with German Lieder. Now, this is the million-dollar question, really, isn't it? This is it's a really big question and quite a tricky one. What's
Sheer
your take on
prejudice,
this?
I think, is probably No, I mean, look, definitely what's happened, and there is a sense in which Italy in the 19th century is known as an operatic place, right? That's what its claim is. And that was an exciting thing because it was the most prestigious form and the most well-traveled form, but it was also a ghetto of a kind. And I think that Italy now, when singers are in conservatory and things like that, they think of singing in Italian, meaning singing opera. And they don't think of that lyric tradition. In German, if you sang German, you might sing opera, but the leader is central to that.
There are quite a lot of German operas.
There are
You've
quite
got to
a lot.
admit.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to sing most of them, would you?
Well, you might not.
But then with French, it's the same in all sorts of ways, that there is that. But Italy has always been thought of as the home of opera. And that is a sense, I think, has squeezed out other genres.
I mean, that's really interesting that you'd put it like that, because I think I'd come at the question, or rather the answer, the other way round. And you might want to write to me to tell me how wrong I am. But I think there's also the fact that it was Germans who were the first musicologists. In lots of ways, the whole discipline of the history of music was to a large extent a German invention in the 19th century and into the 20th. And that means they had an axe to grind, as it were, and Schubert and Schumann and Brahms, that tradition of the Lied was so important to a German musical heritage that then why would they be interested in Italian song, even if they'd known about these Donizetti songs, which obviously weren't taken seriously in the same way, weren't kept in museums or republished endlessly in the decades.
It definitely began in the 19th century because apart from these printed collections of Donizetti songs, the rest of them literally just disappeared. I mean, they were given away or whatever, and they weren't available. They weren't available to
Which
make
is then
editions.
what's so interesting about the Donizetti Song Project, actually, of course, because if you don't have recordings, if you don't have texts to hang on to, how can anyone know any of this music?
So, the stakes are quite high with this. I mean, I think very early on when I was working with Opera Rara, as far as this is concerned, we're not just thinking about recreating individual pieces of music. We're thinking about recreating a repertory here. Something which can exist in a larger sense and actually maybe make people get more interested in other Italian composers.
Well, because it's dangerous, I think, for us at this point in history. We've received the canon of great musical works, and you can forget that actually these things are constantly in motion, that there are things gradually falling away at any given moment, but also new additions coming in. And that's what's so interesting.